Hey, welcome to Divine Key, spelled QI, for today's Workout Wednesday on October 11th of 2023. So today we are going to do a ritual. We're going to talk about what to do with the upcoming eclipse that's coming on Saturday, October 14th. So this is a solar eclipse, and the essence behind this, so it happens, a solar eclipse is always a new moon. So what happens on a new moon normally is I normally get my journal out, which includes my moon journaling stuff, and I write down my intentions. And that is what I'm working to manifest over the next 2 weeks until the full moon, which is usually when I go back and then see what has happened and what hasn't happened. What's different with the new moon is, with an eclipse like this, is that it's amplified. And in this case, it's really eclipses. Typically, astrologers, and I'm not an astrologer, but typically astrologers will say that eclipse something out, right? So it's an agent of change is what it is. So what we want to do is we want to and we may not know. We may not know what we're releasing and what we're asking to come in. So in this case, for the new moon, solar eclipse that's coming up, my suggestion for a ritual, and I wouldn't make this too complicated, because really the essence behind this is we want to clear space. We want to clear things and make room for what is trying to come to us through this eclipse season. So, and that can be physical. So one thing you can do is you can physically clear your space. So clearing as in clearing the clutter. So take a drawer, take a table, take a corner, take one room, and clear all the clutter. Go through every item and pick all the things that you no longer need, because that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about letting go of the things that are no longer serving you, that are no longer of value in your journey. It doesn't mean they don't have value for somebody, but for you they don't. So, so one, clear your physical space, clear the clutter out of your space. Two, what you can do is clear the emotional clutter. What stories have you been telling yourself? What is that dialogue in your head? What tape has been playing over and over? Time to take it out and get rid of it. Take that story out of your head and get rid of it. One way to do that is to write it down on a piece of paper and then shred it really, really fine. If you have a crosscut shredder, that would be perfect, because that would make confetti type cuts. But otherwise, cut it into itty bitty tiny pieces and take it out in a field somewhere, and you can just let the wind take it. It's paper, so it's going to biodegrade perfectly fine, and cut it small enough people won't be able to read what you wrote, but you're releasing it. That's a way of releasing it. You can take it, you can rip it into tiny pieces, and you can, in a safe way, burn it. If you have a fireplace, you can burn it in a fireplace, and the smoke releases it. It turns to ash, and then you can release it. Those are some ways you can emotionally release. Those are the best ways, I think. Like, if you were to write it down and then shred the paper, that would be my preferred way to do this particular process of releasing. And then, so physically releasing, emotionally releasing, and then just look around and see what other things are not serving you. Ideas, thought processes. So not emotional, but like logical, we're talking. How are you thinking about things? Are you doing it just because that's the way it's always been done? Or are you really expressing your own opinion? And when you express your own opinion, sometimes it's counter to what people expect. It makes you very vulnerable. But in order to allow what's meant to come into you, you have to show up as yourself. You have to show up authentically. And that's what this whole eclipse this weekend is about, is you need to show up authentically. It doesn't mean argue your point, convince people of who you are and what you want. Just state it and move on. Allow the universe to bring to you what is meant to come to you, and allow what's meant to fall away to fall away. I'm going, the way I do this is I'm like looking at the tarot suits. So, physically would be pentacles. That's, releasing something in your physical world, material goods. Cups is your emotional release, right? So we were talked about the emotional release. Swords is the logical, mental release. So we've got pentacles, we've got cups, we've got swords, and the last one would be wands. And wands is the passion in your life, the things that motivate you, the way you bring your energy into reality. So not the physical things that you own, but the way you move through the world, the way you move through space, the way you take up space. So when we talk about releasing wands, what in your physicalness do you want to release? Is there a habit that you want to release? That might be something. Is there, and wands, I always say when I read tarot, is wands motivate you to action, right? You manifest thoughts, feelings, and emotions into action. And it has movement involved with it. So often it doesn't matter if you're super excited about it or if you're super pissed off. Both of those feelings come into the wands suit. So what are you really passionate about? Take action in that, or release in that. So if you're really passionate about, let's just take a common one, which is, single-use plastics. If that is one of your passions, then what can you do during this weekend, to release single-use plastics in your life? That's how that would work. So only you know what you're super passionate about. In fact, only you can do this process. This is not something anybody can tell you what is right or wrong for all of them. Physically, emotionally, mentally, and passionately, all of those are personal to you. So sit with yourself for a little bit and really write down those 4 things, if you want to use the suits. So it would be pentacles, cups, swords, and wands. Or if you want to use what corresponds to that, that would be physical, emotional, mental, and passionate. And find one thing to release in each of those categories, and write it and rip it up and dispose of it any way that you'd like. I live in a field, so I can just take it outside and it'll blow in the wind. So it's up to you. It's how you want to do it. Whatever makes sense to you. And then breathe. Take a couple deep breaths and breathe it out. Breathe out the release of everything. And then state to the universe, I'm ready. I'm ready for what is going to allow me to thrive. I'm ready to thrive in this journey of life. I'm ready for what is meant to come in. And then be open to change. Be open to change. That's what eclipses are about. Change will be coming in. And the actions you take during this eclipse, from the astrologers that I listen to, they say it is like a 6-month process. So whatever you initiate is over a 6-month time frame until the closure of this eclipse cycle for this eclipse. So I always say seek balance in all that you do. And I hope that was helpful. It was a little bit different, just a talking head this time for your workout Wednesday, a little low key. But I hope it was helpful, and I hope to see you again next week here at Divine Key, spelled QI. And be well. Thanks. Bye.